The team that couldn't get over the hump has finally climbed back to the mountaintop. The Carolina Hurricanes are your 2026 Stanley Cup champions. And you know what that calls for? Victory Puppies! Last Cup Check video, we brought in a new twist on Victory Puppies where the Ontario Humane Society sends in a hockey card of a pup that is looking to get adopted. Boo Boo was the name of our dog from last video, and I'm happy to tell you, Boo Boo was adopted less than 24 hours after we posted our last video. So it works, which means we're gonna do it again right now. Today's puppy's name is Panini. We had an older pup last time. This one's younger. Panini is 40 pounds and 1 year old. She's currently looking for her forever home. Panini is full of energy and would thrive in an active household that can keep up with her playful personality. She loves to run, play, and spend time with her toys, making her a great match for someone who enjoys an active lifestyle. Panini can be selective with other dogs, and the amazing frontline staff have noticed some prey drive tendencies, so she may do best as the only pet in the home or with experienced dog-savvy adopters who feel comfortable managing slow introductions. With the right home, structure, and lots of love, Panini has the potential to be an amazing companion. Panini is currently available for adoption at the Ontario SPCA Durham Region Animal Centre. You can also view all adoptable animals by visiting ontariospca.ca/adopt. Can we go 2 for 2? This is awesome. I absolutely love this. Now that we're done with that, I should say the Carolina Hurricanes win Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final by a final score of 3-0, securing the 2026 Stanley Cup. Taylor Hall flies in. This line has been the heartbeat of the Carolina Hurricanes for a couple months now. He fires it under the glove and over the pad of Carter Hart, and it's 1-0 Hurricanes early. And moments matter. Moments matter so much to the context of a game. Brandon Bussi is going to get a lot of love, and we're going to give him a lot of love. He got a shutout after all, and he made some spectacular saves. He was absolutely unbelievable. Carter Hart obviously has given up 4 goals or more in 5 straight games. This was his best game in the Stanley Cup Final. Far and away. The saves he made in this game were unbelievable. But it's worth mentioning in the context of the story of this game that the first goal he allowed was cheeks. It's a great rush from Hall. It's a great shot from Hall, but this falls under the textbook definition of you'd like a save there. And here's the thing. It seemed like every team was going to give up a multi-goal lead in every single game of this series. And the deeper we got into the series, the more the coaches figured it out, the more the coaches, and by coaches I mean both John Tortorella and Rod Brindamore, the more they got their fingerprints on this thing, you knew those opportunities were going to become less and less and less. And unlike early on in this series, it becomes way less cute that you're playing from behind basically immediately. This was the second shot of the game. Less than 4 minutes into the game. Carolina, like they've been doing all series, I thought was the way better team. Until they decided to be very silly geese. There were 4 penalties called in the first period, and I would say 3 of them, I would never in my wildest dreams imagine them being called in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final. I think we can all agree when it comes to officiating, this year's playoffs were a little different than playoffs in the past. And this final was way different from finals we've seen in the past. Nick Dowd seemed to be the only Vegas Golden Knight willing to sort of get in the face of the Carolina Hurricanes after the whistle. The after the whistle garbage is such a key component of winning in the Stanley Cup playoffs. All the best teams forever are either really good at instigating it or really good at swatting away the flies. The Vegas Golden Knights did not make the Carolina Hurricanes do that. Ever, really. There were big hits. It was physical, but the after the whistle stuff was just not a factor through 6 games of this cup final. But all that to say, Jackson Blake tripped the goalie. That doesn't happen often. Thomas Hertl played the puck with his hand off the face-off, which you're not allowed to do, and it is a penalty, but you almost never see it. Jack Eichel, 2 minutes for hooking Taylor Hall. Is it a hook? Yes. Did I expect it to get called? No. And Logan Stankoven gets 2 minutes for cross-checking Mitch Marner in the kind of dumb away from the puck interaction you see 1,000 times every playoff and every Stanley Cup Final, but it was actually called this time. And oh, did I think that was going to cost Carolina that last one. Stankoven's in the box. The Vegas Golden Knights have the opportunity to score on this power play and either go into first intermission feeling really good about themselves because they just tied the game, or they could potentially score at the beginning of the second period, which they usually own. All for a penalty you just straight up did not have to take. But Brandon Bussi and the Carolina Hurricanes hold on by the skin of their teeth to not just get out of the period, but also kill it off at the beginning of the second. And the second period, surprisingly, is not where the Vegas Golden Knights would take over the game like they have basically all series long. Forget the scoring chances. After a certain point in the second period, the Hurricanes did not allow a shot. And late in the second period, it's a little bit of making your own luck. Once again, Hall, Blake, Stankoven. This line has been all around it all playoffs long. You could give the line to Conn Smythe. To me, this all starts with Vegas kind of losing their composure, and they've been such a composed team. Jordan Stahl had that great quote earlier in the series, like, they're a very poised team, but they're human. They look pretty human here. Carolina puts a shot on goal. It's stopped. It's deflected into the corner. Look at this. Look at this. Rasmus Anderson's got Jackson Blake. Noah Hannafin keeps swatting at the puck to get it out of harm's way. None of the forwards can touch this puck. It's Marner out there. It's Howden out there. It's Barbashev out there. And I'm not going to use this as an opportunity to dunk on Marner. I just don't feel like doing that, guys. Stop getting me to take the bait. But what I am going to talk about is William Karlsson should probably make a lot more than he's making. I cannot believe, no matter how many points he puts up or doesn't put up, how impactful this guy is on the Vegas roster. Adam called this from over a month ago on the podcast. He called it on his own streams. Whether he's putting up points or not, William Karlsson is, in so many ways, the straw that stirs the drink. He gives the Vegas Golden Knights, without him, they're ordinary. With him, they are this unstoppable force of nature that sweeps the President Trophy winners. Think of the playoff that Marner has had. Think of the playoff that Howden has had. Think of Barbashev was in pursuit of his third cup. That's how they played. Howden was on the wing. Now he's not. He's all messed up. Who's got who? There's no poise at all. After a little bit of banging and crashing, look at this. Jackson Blake skates into open space. They forget he exists. And I was giving it to the forwards, and I still think the forwards deserve some blame, but like, that's your guy, I think. They're all bunched up, and as a result, Blake is able to fire this one-timer. It ends up going off of Marner, and in. It's 2-0, and the boa constrictor just wraps tighter around the Vegas Golden Knights. And from then on, they didn't allow any shots. They did not allow any shots. And once Vegas finally started getting some through, Brandon Bussi stood tall. The Carolina Hurricanes blocked shots. There was a moment where Jalen Chatfield, the only right-handed player on the ice, broke his stick. And usually a forward would give their stick to a defenseman in that situation, but it would have been the wrong-handed stick. So Chatfield has to make a decision on the fly. Okay, I'm becoming a forward now. And even though they couldn't clear the zone, they're right next to the bench. Okay, yoink, I'm going to take a stick off the bench. They had to survive some crazy situations in there. And with Bussi without a stick, Eichel and Stone, 2 Olympians, have Bussi dead to rights. And Eichel puts it off the crossbar. Immediately on the stream, I'm like shades of Nathan McKinnon. It's so... That's it. That's your moment to get on the board. The building erupts. The bench loses its mind. If that goes in, I don't need to tell you that being down 2-1 is better than being down 2-0. Who knows what that does to the game? Now, I know you're all waiting. Steve, how do you make this about the Leafs? Oh, it's actually not me. Hurricanes fans provided context that I didn't know. Everyone knows by now Brandon Bussi was a waiver claim for the Carolina Hurricanes, which is unbelievable. Earlier this season, Bussi, who was with the Florida Panthers, got waived by the Panthers and the Hurricanes claimed him. Why did the Hurricanes claim him? Because the Leafs, who invited James Reimer to camp, I think with the intention of maybe signing him, decided to not sign him. Former Carolina Hurricane, by the way. They didn't sign him. Instead, they claimed Caden Primo off of waivers from the Hurricanes. This left the Hurricanes needing another goalie. And so they go out and they get Brandon Bussi. Bussi is incredible. His save percentage by the end of the season is an .895, which isn't horrible these days. It's also not great, but he was virtually undefeated. He had a 31-6-2 record. Again, with an .895. In these playoffs, which included this game, 3-0-1, which is 3-1 because you can't have an overtime loss in the playoffs. It's just called a loss. He made 81 saves and had a .931 save percentage. His performance this season, which he signed that extension before winning a Stanley Cup for the Hurricanes, he might regret that. He also probably doesn't, because he signed a deal that pays him $1.9 million per season for the next 3 seasons, and this guy's LinkedIn includes a post-COVID job that he had at Chipotle. Now, I saw that on social media. I didn't even verify that it's true. I don't care. I don't care. I can't get enough of Brandon Bussi. I don't care. On the podcast years ago, I said, what about this guy? And you might think I'm just happy that he didn't do it with the Florida Panthers. And you're right, but you're also wrong, because I'm also happy he didn't do it with the Boston Bruins, who he was with for years and they never used him once. His first playoff action, his first regular season action, his first NHL action of any kind was this season at 27 years old. Here's his Providence Bruins stats. 3-2 with a .920, 22-5-4 with a .924. Didn't play in the NHL. 23-10-5 with a .913. And then he gets 15-14-3 with a .907. Oh no, maybe he stinks. Yeah, maybe he doesn't. This dude wins the vast majority of the game he plays, wherever he goes. Taking over from a guy who people were like, oh, Freddie Anderson is going to win the Conn Smythe this year. Oh, and now he's just not performing up to snuff, and you have to go in there now and perform at a Conn Smythe level in order for us to win the Stanley Cup. Anyway, good luck. Anyway, have fun with that, Brandon. All right, anyway, have fun. The story of so many people to do with the Carolina Hurricanes is unbelievable. Brandon Bussi is the one that I think more than anything I cannot get enough of. The clock winds down. It's becoming more and more apparent that Vegas, they might not have a goal here. They might not be able to get this done here. Ehlers puts the empty netter in. Dude, with less than 90 seconds to go, I still thought Vegas might do this. I think Vegas thought Vegas might do this. Why wouldn't they? They've been doing this all season long. But Ehlers makes it 3-0, and my friends, that is it. Brandon Bussi, Stanley Cup clinching shutout, and the Carolina Hurricanes win the 2026 Stanley Cup. Rod the Bod, back on top, wins the Stanley Cup once as a player and once as a head coach with the same team. Ridiculous. Jordan Staal, the oldest Conn Smythe winner in the history of Conn Smythe winners at 37, which is actually younger than me, and I feel sad about it. Taylor Hall with what would end up being a Stanley Cup winning goal less than 4 minutes into the game, with gray in his beard, drafted first overall in 2010. This guy in junior was synonymous with winning back-to-back Memorial Cups, which is so difficult to do. The circumstances need to be so aligned. Like, you can be too good to accomplish this because you'll simply graduate to the NHL. Taylor Hall won 2 Memorial Cups before he was drafted. Then he comes to the NHL, and because the Oilers don't do well with him, he's a joke all of a sudden. And he pings around the NHL. He's a suitcase. He wins a Hart Trophy, and he can't do it anymore. He's not Hart Trophy caliber anymore. I don't really want Taylor Hall. Hurricanes get him in a 3-way deal with the Chicago Blackhawks. You could have, I think, given him the Conn Smythe, and people, I don't even think anyone looks at you sideways. And this tiny boy, who I interviewed when he was with the Windsor Spitfires, taking on Alex Petrangelo's Barrie Colts in the OHL final. I went to Barrie, and he scored the overtime winner, and fans threw macaroni onto the ice. That is a real thing. Boxes of loud macaroni that they had under the seat as a noisemaker. I'll just tell the story. So, it's supposed to be a noisemaker, right, for the fans. All right, fans. Oh, and the Windsor wins it in overtime on the road in Barrie. Windsor celebrates for like a hot second. And you ever seen 300? The arrows blot out the sun, just boxes of like President's Choice macaroni and cheese or whatever it was, rain down, and the Spitfires, who are a junior hockey team, like with some minors on them, I'm gonna remind you, have to like evacuate the ice. And I go down, because I'm going down into the bowels of the arena to interview the players after the game. And this poor girl who worked for the Colts, I don't know who it is to this day, runs by, and I heard her go, "Oh, I specifically told them this wouldn't happen." Which means someone was like, "Let's do macaroni and cheese noisemakers." And everyone went, "That's a great idea." But one person went, "Wait, what if all the fans throw them onto the ice?" And she went, "Nah, it's cool. That's not gonna happen." I'm crying laughing. Oh my God. Ah. Gosh, there's got to be footage of that somewhere. Oh my God, it's so good. Anyway, that guy's a Stanley Cup champion now. Seth Jarvis, Stanley Cup champion now. Freddie Anderson, Leafs fans, that's a Stanley Cup champion now. Nick Delorier didn't play in the Stanley Cup Final, but for the photos, he taped up his wrist, which I think is hilarious. That guy's a Stanley Cup champion now. Eric Tulsky and Tyler Dello. These dudes were bloggers. I specifically remember, like, Tyler Dello was a menace. MC79 Hockey, I think, was his Twitter handle. That guy was a menace, and he would go at anyone. And that dude was hired to the Oilers. I think he went somewhere else. Did he go somewhere else? And then he's hired to be AGM of the Carolina Hurricanes. He's a Stanley Cup champion now. Look at this from Eric Tulsky from 2014. He tweeted this in 2014, July 22nd, 2014. "I can understand why the default would be to trust that NHL teams know more about every aspect of the game than random bloggers." Stanley Cup winning general manager. And I can tell you, the old boys around the NHL, oh, they're pissed. Oh, they're pissed. Oh, aren't they happy that Vegas didn't win? There's probably some GMs out there that don't like Vegas. They do not like these guys on their turf. And the bunch of jerks are the bunch of champions. The bunch of bloggers are the Stanley Cup winning hockey executives. Never, ever, ever give up on your dreams. How dare you? These guys are Stanley Cup champions? And you're giving up? Absolutely not. I won't allow it. I won't hear it. No. Whatever you're doing, whatever you want to be doing, as soon as this video is over, because I don't want you to go anywhere, but as soon as this video is over, you go out there and you achieve your dreams. You do it. Questions? Looking back where Freddie was shaky in games 1-3 and Vegas won on a lucky bounce in double overtime, was the series actually as close as it appeared? Yes. Yes, it 100% was. There were patches of the series where Vegas ran Carolina through the boards. And I was like, oh, not only is this going to be over, it's going to be over fast in Vegas's favor, and it's going to be ugly. After game 1, you could be forgiven for thinking it might be a sweep. It occurred to me that it might be a sweep. Honestly, it really did. And before William Karlsson got hurt, it was only like a game and a half ago, this thing was tight. Tight. Adam preached the gospel of William Karlsson. I cannot believe how much that player means to this team. They didn't have him for the vast majority of the season, and look how mediocre they were. They barely made the playoffs. They didn't fire Bruce Cassidy because they thought it'd be fun. They fired it because it looked like this team is either going to miss the playoffs or they're going to make it and be cannon fodder. That's why they moved off of Cassidy and went to John Tortorella. But, key thing is a little bit into Tortorella's tenure, William Karlsson returns. This was close. Don't It was close. How about the fact that this is Bussi's first NHL shutout? You are making that up! No way! Oh, you are making that up. According to HockeyDB, he had 2. Oh, his first playoff shutout. That works. You know what? Good stat. Do you think Mitch and his people have regrets about not waiving to go to Carolina? So, I don't think they do. Think of how important Logan Stankoven was to this Hurricanes team. Think of how important Taylor Hall was to this Hurricanes team. It's probably likely neither of those players are Hurricanes if the Mitch Marner deal to Carolina happens. And the reason for that is the Rantanen deal, where Rantanen goes to Carolina, happens because, in part, Mitch did not waive his no trade with the Leafs to go to Carolina. Also, as a man, I perfectly understand and sympathize with Mitch Marner's reasons for not waiving his no-move clause last spring. I get it. There are other times where he had his no-move, and I think he should have waived it when he had the opportunity. Absolutely. 100%. But last spring, baby on the way, I have a hard time blaming him. It's crazy that it's Carolina that ended up beating them in the final. That is nuts. But butterfly effect. Like, think of how different the Hurricanes are. Maybe they're better. Maybe they're worse. Think of Vegas. So many things happen in between that happening and not happening. I don't blame him for making that decision when he made it. He fought for that clause in his deal. The Leafs had time to prepare for it. There's plenty of blame for the Marner camp for how things worked in Toronto. I talked about that at length. I'm not really interested in talking about it now. But one of the things I don't blame him for is exercising his right that he negotiated for, that the Leafs simply went, oh, well, maybe he'll just waive it. No! Alleged adults, that is not how this works. What? So can we start calling it the Logan Stankoven trade instead of the Mikko Rantanen trade now, right? You see? That's better. That's better. I like that. Now, here's something a lot of people have pointed out, and I'll talk about it just because the chat was full of it tonight. Marner has an incredible Game 3. He gets a hat trick, 4-point game, record breaker. It's insane. People are pointing out, Game 4, he had an assist, -1. In Game 5, no points, -1. And in Game 6, no points, -3. Obviously, he lost his center, who he's had so much success with. That's a big deal. I think he still looked mostly good. I mean, the puck goes off of him on the second goal. Didn't do the greatest on the empty netter. And you might be like, well, that's unfair. And that's ridiculous. And that is the cost of making $12 million. He makes more than anyone on the Vegas Golden Knights. That's going to change soon because Eichel signed that extension. But Mitch Marner is the highest paying Vegas Golden Knight. If the Vegas Golden Knights win this Stanley Cup, Mitch Marner would have had the highest cap hit of anyone to ever win the Stanley Cup, overtaking his teammate, Jack Eichel, who's tied with Bobrovsky and Barkov. And I don't know if you noticed this or not. Obviously, no one on Vegas scored in this game, so you can't really put it all on him. That's absurd. But when push comes to shove and no one else is getting it done, who do you rely on? The answer is the guys you rely on. He's been a guy they've relied on, right? When he's performed, how'd they do? He's pretty good. When he didn't put up points, how'd the Vegas Golden Knights do? Is that unfair? Makes unfair money. That's what it is. We've been how did Matthews look this year? Like he was worth 13 and a quarter? Not really. How'd they do? Oh yeah. Anyway, we're going to talk about this on the podcast, I'm sure. But listen, at the end of the day, he was easily Vegas's MVP these playoffs. Easily. Far and away. If Vegas wins the next 2 games, wins the Conn Smythe in a walk. He probably came close to winning it tonight, honestly. He probably didn't finish outside of the top 3. And now, Going forward for Vegas, and this is a good thing, he's been there. And he knows what it takes. This is a guy that's been waiting to be unlocked for years and years and years. He's here now. He's on the scene. And no one would be surprised to see Vegas right back in the Stanley Cup Final next year. Potentially with Dylan Larkin. My friends, what a season. Oh. What a season. I'm not done making videos, obviously. It's going to be trades, transactions, talking about all kinds of stuff on this channel and on SDP. It's okay. I only co-own the company. SDPN. What a playoff and what a series. Now we wait for what happens next. My friends, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video and this season of videos. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. Bloggers can win the Stanley Cup. Who would have thought?